Hi, I'm Brandon with Aspen Plumbing. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about wet venting. So I have a couple of drawings here. The first one over here, we got a toilet and then a lavatory up here, and our wet vented section in this picture would be between our lav and our toilet right here. So this section right here is a wet vented section because our vent for a toilet is dumping water down from the lav here. So when we do wet venting in our code book for vertical wet venting, says each wet vented section shall not be less than one pipe size exceeding the required minimum waste pipe size of the upper fixture. So all that means is if we look here, we have a vent for our toilet and we have a lavatory, a bathroom sink draining down the vent for our toilet right here, right? So what the code book is telling us is that this wet vented section needs to be one pipe size bigger than the minimum drain for our upper fixture, in this case, which is a lav. So in our code book, the minimum drain for a lav is actually 1.25 inches. So if we go one pipe size up from 1.25 inches, we're looking at 1.5 inches right here, which in this scenario right here is not going to work, because if we ran this 1.5 inches for a vent for a toilet that's also dumping a lav into it, we're undersized for a minimum vent for a toilet. Our minimum vent for a toilet here in Washington State is 2 inches. So if our wet vented section needs to be 1.5 inches and we run it as a 2-inch vent like we normally would for a toilet, we're good to go here on our lav. Now I did one more for a kitchen as our upper fixture. So the same, we got here to here is our wet vented section. But in this case, we have a kitchen line draining into the toilet. So if toilets, like we said over here, is normally 2 inches for our vent, we need to look at our kitchen, and our minimum size drain for a kitchen, not trap arm, minimum size drain is actually 2-inch vent, or a 2-inch drain, I'm sorry. So if we wanted to wet vent our toilet with a kitchen line, we have to upsize one pipe size bigger than our minimum drain, which is 2 inches. So now, instead of a 2-inch section here for our vent for the toilet, we're going to have to upsize that to a 3-inch vent to allow water to come down from our kitchen drain right here. And then above that, so above the trap for a kitchen, or a trap arm for a kitchen, we can go back down to 2 inches, because anything above this is going to the roof, right? These are both going through the roof. So with wet venting section, we got to remember minimum size vent for the fixture we are wet venting. We have to remember minimum size drain lines for our uppermost fixtures, and remember that we need to go one pipe size greater than the minimum in our code book, the minimum drain for our uppermost fixtures. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Here at Aspen Plumbing, we like to make these videos to help the apprentice understand their code book a little bit better. So if you got any help from this video, or you just enjoyed watching, please like and subscribe. It would help us out a lot.